Okay, we're going to start a series now on getting started in the business. I know this is going to get a lot of views because we get questions all the time about how to get started. So, the number one question we get asked is, how do I start, or how do I do what you do? And it's an incomplete question. There's two more parts to it. I'm going to explain what those parts are, and then I'm going to do a video on each of those parts so you really understand what you need to know. You can't ask how you start something unless you know where you want to finish. It's like asking for directions and not giving somebody an address of where you're going. It doesn't work. So before you say, how do I start? You need to know where you want to go. There's a lot of places to go in this business. You can be a wholesaler, you can be a rehabber, you can be a co-wholesaler and never deal with the buyers and just take on half the business. You can be somebody who buys rentals. There's a million different things you can do, and you need to decide what that is. So you need to know where you want to go. We're going to talk more about that in the next video. You also need to know what you're willing to give to it. How much time or how much money. Now, again, we're not asking for any of that money. But if you want to wholesale, you're going to need to spend some money on marketing. I don't think there's any way around that. Unless you're working with somebody like us where you can just go get properties and we'll do the rest of the deal. But you need to know where you want to go and you need to know what you're willing to give. So a good example of a question is, hey, how do I start wholesaling? I'm looking to wholesale, just 4 to 5 deals a year, make an extra 50, 60 grand, and I can give it a couple of $100 a month and maybe 2 days a week because maybe I can work on weekends. That's a good example. With that, we can craft a plan for you. But you need to know where you want to go and what you're willing to give. And we're going to talk more about those two things. And it takes thought. This is not something you can answer in 5 minutes. You have to think about it. And it's scary on some level because you feel like, oh, if I decide to do too much, I'm going to shoot too far. Or if I decide to do too little, then what's going to happen? These answers are going to change. Where you're going to end up going is going to be different. Where we are in our business is different than where we thought it would be. And how much you give to it is going to change too. But you need to make a decision and then you can craft a plan. And of course, on the way towards that destination, everything will change. It's just inevitable. But you need to really think about those two things. And the next two videos will give you a little more in depth about how to think about it and how to come up with the answers to the other two parts of that question. How do I start?